Hi, I'm Mike Konrad, member of the SMTA Global Board of Directors, where I'm Vice President of Communications, back with you once again, this time for the SMTA update for the month of April 2025. Here's what's happening at SMTA. On Tuesday, April 1st, the Dallas chapter will host its annual Expo and Technical Forum at the Plano Event Center in Plano, Texas. There will be 4 technical presentations. Carter Severinson from EMAC will present Workforce Development, Bridging the Workforce Gap in Electronics Manufacturing. Joseph Maruskak from Pseudo Labs will present the keynote presentation entitled Transforming Manufacturing with AI. Tom Burks from the Jefferson Project will present Like Holding the Wolf by the Ears. That's an interesting title. And Rick Williams from Corel USA will present Adiabatic and Isothermal Humidification for Electronics Manufacturing, the Science of Humidity Control in Manufacturing. It all begins when registration opens at 8 a.m. and a complimentary lunch and bar will be provided. On Wednesday, April 2nd, all 3 California chapters will present component and PCB moisture handling guidelines. Handling of moisture-sensitive packages is an ongoing learning process in volume manufacturing. Improperly handled and stored MSDs, moisture-sensitive devices, can impact yields and reliability. The presentation will cover a review of the industry standards from MSDs, J-Standard 020, J-Standard 033, and J-Standard 075, and their applications in moisture control. Steve Martell from Nordson will review component moisture-sensitive handling requirements, and Mumtaz Bora from PSEMI will review PCB moisture-sensitive handling requirements. This 90-minute webinar begins at noon Pacific Time on April 2nd. On Thursday, April 3rd, the Houston chapter will host its annual Expo and Technical Forum at Pinstripes in Houston, Texas. There will be 3 technical presentations, beginning with a panel discussion entitled From Hustle to Hired, Mastering the Houston Job Market. The panelists are Carter Severinson, Michael Gutierrez, and Joey Sanchez. And just like in Dallas, Rick Williams will present Adiabatic Isothermal Humidification for Electronics Manufacturing, the Science of Humidity Control in Manufacturing. Registration opens at 9 a.m. and the expo concludes at 3 p.m., followed by a reception and bowling. Lunch will also be provided. On Friday, April 4th, the Auburn student chapter will host a webinar entitled Megatrend Challenges in Automotive Electronics. Tu An Tran, the first female fellow at NXP, will be the presenter. This 1-hour webinar begins at 2:30 p.m. Central Time. Also on Friday, April 4th, the Wisconsin chapter, along with the Electronics Manufacturing and Assembly Collaborative, better known as EMAC, will host an engaging educational workshop on the subject of Printed Circuit Assembly PCBAs 101. Designed for electronics technology students and technicians interested in learning more about the high-demand manufacturing industry, this event offers a basic introduction to the world of printed circuit board assembly with an emphasis on hands-on learning with equipment from Neodon. Whether you're a new student or a soon-to-be graduate or simply curious about the future of electronics, learn about the PCBA industry from PCBA industry professionals who work at it every day. Network, learn, and leave inspired. This event takes place at Madison Arena Technical College, room D like Delta 1630, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Central Time. On Tuesday, April 8th, the Ontario chapter will host a webinar on the subject of costly, controversial ESD myths. That sounds interesting. Ted Dengelmeyer from Dengelmeyer Associates will be the presenter for this webinar. This 1-hour webinar begins at noon Eastern Time. Also on Tuesday, April 8th, the Boston chapter, along with IEEE and IMAPS, will host an in-person technical meeting and tour of New England die cutting in Methuen, Massachusetts. Mark Quarantillo from Hinkle will present a 60 to 90-minute adhesives technology training. The event begins at 5:30 p.m. Eastern and takes place at New England Die Cutting in Methuen, Massachusetts. The Advanced Electronics Assembly Conference takes place on Wednesday, April 8th at Bach Hall at Inno Electro in Budapest. Inno Electro offers an established business and professional forum to companies who are involved in creation and manufacturing of electronics-based solutions. Let it be design houses, research centers, manufacturers, retailers, distributors, training centers, or any other kind of institution or organization. With the professional organization of the National Electronics Society of Hungary, this event is the largest showcase of the electronics industry in Hungary, providing both an exhibition and technical conference. It will offer excellent opportunities for networking, knowledge sharing, and browsing for new partnerships and solutions for both exhibitors and visitors. InnoElectro aims to strengthen innovative thinking and provide space for it in every segment of the industry, from design to manufacturing. SMTA is proud to be a diamond sponsor for this event and provide a one-day technical program. On Thursday, April 10th, the Monterrey chapter will host its Expo and Technical Forum at Cintermex in Monterrey, Mexico. Priscilla Stefina Rincon, Venezuela, will present application of artificial intelligence in automated optical inspection. Fernando Rodriguez will present on the topic of DFM, Design for Manufacturability, and Louis M. Alduson will speak on solutions to solder paste printing problems. Registration opens at 11 a.m., and of course, a happy hour will be provided. Also on Thursday, April 10th, the Penang chapter will host a technical webinar on the subject of failure modes in flip chip and wire bonded packages. Mumtaz Bora from PSEMI will be the presenter. This one-hour webinar begins at 11 a.m. Penang time. On Friday, April 11th, SMTA will host its monthly water cooler Zoom session. This particular one is specifically scheduled for Asian time zones. If you're a chapter officer and would like to chat with other chapter officers, SMTA board members, or HQ staff, don't miss this valuable meeting. This meeting takes place at 9:30 a.m. Taipei time. The Counterfeit Electronics and Materials Symposium UK will take place April 15th and 16th at AFC Wimbledon in London. There will be 16 technical presentations along with a tour of Wimbledon Stadium. On Wednesday, April 16th, the Arizona chapter will host its annual Expo and Technical Forum at the DoubleTree Hotel in Mesa, Arizona. Technical presentations begin with a workforce development breakfast, followed by a technical presentation by Brian Franco of Intel on the subject of low-temperature solder, enabling the future, and Tony Lentz from FCT Solder USA will present voiding in solder joints from a solder paste perspective. Registration opens at 8 a.m. A happy hour will be provided. And on Thursday, April 17th, the Space Coast chapter will host a tutorial program on the subject of bottom-terminated components, BTCs. The presenter is none other than Dave Hillman from Hillman Electronic Assembly Solutions, LLC. This event runs from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and takes place at Vertex in Palm Bay, Florida. Also on Thursday, April 17th, the Carolinas chapter will host a webinar on the subject of state-of-the-art test techniques presented by Vaughn Carlson from Value in Grafting. This one-hour webinar runs from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Time. On Tuesday, April 22nd, the Huntsville chapter will host its annual Expo and Tech Forum at Jackson Center in Huntsville, Alabama. Chris Shea from Shea Engineering Services will provide the opening keynote on the subject of the future of ultra-high-density interconnect electronics assembly. A lunch and learn technical presentation on the subject of SIR test methods used to qualify soldering and cleaning materials and processes will be presented by Mike Bixenman from Magnalytics. And Vaughn Carlson from Value in Grafting will present best techniques for ultra-high-density boards. This event runs from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Central Time. On Thursday, April 24th, the Atlanta chapter will host its annual Expo and Technical Forum at the Gwinnett County Fairgrounds in Lawrenceville, Georgia. Debbie Garner from Hexordia will provide the opening keynote on the subject of exploring the hardware behind law enforcement tools, how engineers shape safer communities. That sounds very interesting to me. Neil Hubble from Acromatrix and Gary Burst from Intel will present interlayer copper balancing to reduce PCB surface typography under large form factors. And Ryan Miller will present on thermal management. There will be a complimentary lunch and keynote presentation entitled Making the Best Connections, presented by Jason Moss, CEO of Georgia Manufacturing Alliance. Registration for this event opens at 8:30 a.m. And finally, the last event of April, the High Reliability Strategic Technology Advancement Research, or STAR Forum, takes place on April 30th through May 1st at the Embassy Suites in Olathe, Kansas. Day one of the STAR conference includes 3 professional development courses. Dale Lee from Plexus will be the course instructor for Design for Manufacturing, or DFM, The Future is Already Here. I will be the course instructor for the Cleaning and Cleanliness Quantification Masterclass, and Chris Shea from Shea Engineering Services will be the course instructor for a data-driven solder paste qualification process. And although this doesn't take place in April, save the date for the Electronics and Harsh Environments Conference and Exhibition, May 20th through 22nd in Amsterdam. This conference focuses on building reliable electronics used in power electronics and harsh environments. For more information on any of these events or to register, visit smta.org/events. April's a busy month. Not a member of SMTA? We can change that. Consider joining to receive the many benefits SMTA provides, including over 5,000 fully searchable technical papers in our knowledge base, on-demand 101 and 201 level training courses, networking events, career resources, SMTA certification courses, and most importantly, a network of local chapters around the world. And talking about the online training courses, they are now included in your SMTA membership dues. Now there's even more value to your SMTA membership with access to training for all members at no additional cost. If your employer is an SMTA corporate member, ask them to provide you with a login so you too can begin benefiting from all SMTA has to offer. Individual memberships are available quite literally for just pennies a day. More information is available at smta.org. Well, that's it for April updates. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you again in May.